Hey everyone. I hope you can hear me. I don't know. Welcome to Waking Up with Pep and a belated Nana. She's going to join us in just a few moments. Some of us, well, both of us, were up a little too late gaming last night. And, that happens. We're not spring chickens, but we're here. Well, I'm here, and she's going to be here in just a moment. So until then, you get me. Yep. Okay, I can hear myself. All right. So it'll take a moment. I know for some people to join. This was a really quick intro and a little delay. So, uh, welcome to Waking Up. Maybe this, Nana's done a couple of these. Arugs has done a couple of these for while I was traveling, and she makes it look so easy. She does. She just has the ability to to talk and converse, and yeah, I don't quite have that. I don't quite have that gift. Yeah, that's not so much of a wheel. So, but you know what? Here I am. And here you are. Well, some of you. So what are we talking about today? Waking up to some, I like that title. Waking up to something. I don't know. I don't know whether to do the disclaimer now. Wait, I've never done the disclaimer before. Oh my god! Now I know what Arugs felt like when she had to do this by herself because I was traveling. It's different. It's kind of awkward. So, um, yeah. Happy Sunday, everyone. Now we're a little late. We're gonna officially get rolling in just a few minutes as Arugs gets sorts herself out. No, as she joins us. You guys just get me. This should be good. Okay. It doesn't need a disclaimer yet because I don't want to really start getting into it because I know Arugs gonna be here in a minute. So right now it's you just get a chat with me, just gonna hang out with me. So just do it. Seriously, you want me to just do it? I was about to talk about something completely different. Just do it. All right, Nike. Okay. Oh my God. So here, waking up. We are not here to bash anyone's religion or religious beliefs. We believe faith is a beautiful thing when done in a. Don't want you to do the show without coffee. No, no. We've seen how that goes. The without coffee and could be entertaining. See, Paragon, you say that, but that's because you're not here on the show. If you were here on the show, you might have a slightly different tune. When she directs that non caffeinated uh sass your direction, yeah. I mean, but then again, kind of into that, so it's fine. Mm. So as I was saying, we're not here to bash anyone's faith. Faith is a beautiful thing when done in a healthy, in a mentally, emotionally healthy manner. Yeah, actually, that's about half of it. Um, I like this. Yeah, see, I know how that is. I know how that goes. Continue with your viewer discretion is advised message. That is exactly what the viewer. It's yeah, a little bit of viewer discretion is advised. A little bit of don't at us, or I mean, you can at us if you want. If you want, that's fine. But we want to make sure that people are approaching their religious their faith, and we want people to approach their faith in a healthy way. Because the way we approached our faith, the way we're taught to approach our faith when we were younger, was not mentally and emotionally healthy. And a lot of that has to do with setting with your faith is your faith. Your faith is not everyone else's faith. I'll at you all night long. Wow. Thank you, Jay. Uh, don't threaten me with a good time. Um, stream closed captions. Hey, friendly reminder. We get that happens all the time, and yet we still turn it on. That's fine. Hey, Jay. Hey, Paragon. Hey, Arugs. You're on the wrong side of this. So, disclaimer. Why don't I have it written down? Because I didn't expect this to happen. So there's mostly the disclaimer. So Pep, what are we talking about today? Thanks, Arugs. Well, our topic today. I did the disclaimer? Did you not hear it? I did part of the disclaimer at least. All right. So what did we talk about today? We are talking about something. We're talking about. I have my mug here for a specific reason. I took a responsibility for welcoming new wastelands all alone. Yes, the Wasteland Welcoming Committee. Such one of my favorite groups. It's we do fantastic work. We do amazing work. So this I decided to use this mug in honor or as a segue, as a talking point for our discussion today. And today we are talking about being a talking about slaying your. This is the idea that came into my head as I was earlier. Slaying your white knight. Or we're talking about growing up in the church and learning how to become a white knight, because that is what we were taught, whether the church meant to or not. That's the idea that is pushed by the churches we grew up in. Dante's Inferno game. Oh, okay. I am not familiar with that game. This is I like to say this is the knights that say knee. Yeah. So we're talking about white knights. Visual aids are super helpful for handling all the hard items. Yeah, I agree with that. This is also great for holding up in front of me as a shield. Rudes has called me out on that before. There's a reason I am holding this. I'm holding this cup up a lot, putting it down, picking it up, putting it down, picking it up. It's one of my coping mechanisms. It's what I do when I'm anxious, and I'm anxious because, oh my god, I am talking to you guys by myself. White Knights. Right. Yeah, Paragon. Mm-hmm. This is one specifically. This is a big one for me. White Knights. I call myself a recovering White Knight. So because I don't think you ever completely get away from it. I think it's always there. It is all about trying to manage that. You probably could. You probably could get. There probably could be a point if you're in your mental health growth. But there probably could be a point where you overcome it. I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. So for anyone that doesn't know what White Knights are, White Knights are your rescuers. White Knights are your people who want to swoop in and fix things. They want to make things better. They want to save you. And sometimes that it's not just saving you from Satan. It's saving you from yourself. And see, that's where we start to get into the whole the mentally and emotionally healthy manner. Saving you from yourself is a big part of what I was taught in the church. So you can equate it to an addiction, something like the endorphins of feel good. That is exactly right, Paragon. That is a huge part of being a white knight. And I'm gonna cross over between both the religious aspect of it and because you can be a white knight without growing up in a religious home. I think there's so much reinforcement that occurs. There's so much that you learn. I think it's stronger when you grow up within the church. The ideas are reinforced.
Live, well, people promise not to make fun of how tired I look.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because then they won't have to listen to me the entire time.
Oh my god! I was watching this, and the whole time you were making excuses, and here's the thought I was having: you train people. You train people. You have international trainings, and yet you freak the fuck out when the fact that you're just talking to yourself. Like, I don't understand. Like, you taught for 2 years. You taught as a teacher to high school students.
Where's your
And
face?
I
You're not
don't.
allowed to go off on me without if I
Oh
can't see your
my
face.
god! You know what? I might do this the whole time, just like this, just to freak you the
You're
fuck
just
out.
gonna do,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just gonna do it like that. That's fine. Yes, I have taught people on the other
Here
side of
you
the world. It's an Arugs!
motherfucking go.
Yay!
Here you
You're so
go.
pretty.
Here you go.
Yes, Paragon.
Oh my
There
god.
she is. There's the pretty face.
Oh my god.
Good morning.
You know, they could see me before you can see me on guest star, so it's fine.
Yeah, I noticed that. I've got the stream open.
Yes, Paragon. Both Pep and I have we've done a stint in education.
We did. We did a tour. We had a tour.
Except I was I did the tour a lot longer than you did. Let's just say
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
We all.
Jay, you wanna teach me a few things?
Oh
I mean,
Jesus.
I'm very teachable, Jay. Quite teachable. I respond to feedback.
Okay, let me. Sorry for that. Like, I literally was up at 10 o'clock, and I was like, I really was laying there scrolling through some YouTubes. You know, that's what I do. I was like, it's Sunday. My kids, they had just woken up, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna relax for a minute. I apparently fell back asleep. And my oldest comes in and she sticks her head in right at like, noon. And she's like, Mom, are you streaming today? Or are you just not streaming? I went, fuck. This is what I get for allowing myself space to, I don't know, relax. I fell right back asleep. I was up. I was like, I have time. I'm not even gonna get up. And I was like, I'm just gonna lay here for a minute. And I even had a conversation, like a whole conversation with Nora. But I was like, we were just talking. I had breakfast. Okay, what'd you have, baby? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, just sort of, just spending some time with her. And then she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go. I was like, okay. Again, scrolling the YouTubes, I was watching a video, and apparently I fell back asleep. Apparently I knocked the fuck out again. It's fine. I got you something you can scroll for a few hours. You fucking tease, Jay. All right.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
You keep talking this shit, and yet, where are ya?
Exactly. You're only a few hours. It's a day trip.
So Peppa and I last night we actually gamed longer than we were. We just because we ended up talking a lot. If you didn't scroll through that, we talked a lot about our mental health and sort of what we were going through, and just ended up gaming and talking. So last night we were like, well, what are we talking about? And we ended up talking about the whole white knight situation. And it was really good because that it does apply to all genders. Like when you say white knight, the first thing that a lot of people think about is, a man rescuing, because that's what the fairy tales say. But at the same time, it's pretty much, it's on all of us. Like there is a lot that I have to handle with my mental health is like, I can't rescue everybody. I can't save everybody, no matter how deeply I want to. And it's like, well, why? You think, oh, well, that's just the people pleaser in you. Yes. But also, where did I learn that mindset? And Shawn and I both learned that, and like we have to save everyone because that's how we were raised. It is our job. We are onward Christian soldiers. We were all soldiers of God, the full armor of God, and we've already done all of that. Is that it was our job to save the world.
Yes, and we're taught to save the world. It's not just something that we suddenly come up with and decide, I'm going to save the world. No, it's reinforced for us.
Yes,
we're taught how to do that.
Yes,
and we're taught through specific verses in the Bible. We've got to save the world, and sometimes we got to save the world from themselves. And you'll still see that now. There's a lot of people where you'll see that very obvious. Oh, a white knight is a difficult thing to overcome because, as Paragon mentioned, it's a bit like an addiction. It's rescuing someone, the appreciation from rescuing someone, the feeling like you're doing good, you're valuable, that you've contributed something to someone's life, you get this massive dopamine hit, and that just reinforces the idea. You get a hit, and so
But there's
it's hard
also
to.
right, and it is
Mhm,
the dopamine hit. It is a drug. It is an addiction. It's that feeling good about helping somebody, and
mhm,
but it's twofold. It's a
mhm,
drug that is twofold. Just it is not a drug that just makes you feel good, but it's very much like barbiturate or something like that, where it also numbs the pain.
ooh, that's a
So
good
when
point.
you are helping somebody else, when you are concentrating on
Mhm,
helping somebody else with their problem, not only are you feeling really good about it, but at the
yep,
same the simultaneous time that you are doing that, you are numbing yourself from the pain and problems and issues and neglecting that from from yourself. So not
mhm,
only are you at the same time numbing your own pain, you're not feeling your own
mhm,
pain, you're not dealing with your own problems, you're not dealing with your own issues. You're not dealing with that. And when you are concentrated on somebody else and helping somebody else out, you're getting that dopamine hit of,
yep,
oh, I'm doing good and I'm doing
yeah.
great and
Look, I made a
I
difference.
made a difference and it feels good and
Mhm,
I am a good person. But at the same time, that thing, what you're doing is also numbing and ignoring your own issues. So
yes,
you don't know literally how much you're hurting or how much you're dealing, or maybe you do. And the more you, the when it starts to creep in, then you're like, I need to do more, which is what keeps you in toxic
yeah,
relationships, be it friendships,
mhm,
romantic, or what, or familial. The whole thing, that is what keeps you in toxic and unhealthy relationships, because it is that whole concept is lying to you. It is lying to
mhm,
you that you're okay as long as they're okay, because you're numbing that feeling within yourself and ignoring
mhm,
that feeling within yourself
yep,
because you're doing good for somebody else. And that has to balance
yep,
out, right? That has to equal out. That has to be good, right? That has to be fine. And so I'm going to, and
mhm,
you have to do the, and the further you get into that relationship, years, decades, whatever, you will never be able to do enough. Eventually it will
yep,
consume you.
yes, and you learn to rationalize neglecting self for others. You were saying about it numbing you to your own pain. It not only numbs you, but it also tells you, oh well, you know what, my needs aren't as big of a deal. That's part of where you get the minimization of your own needs and wants, because other people are always more important. There's always someone else out there that needs help. There's always one of your friends in crisis or someone else in crisis mode. You become addicted to that, to helping out,
Yes.
to being that. That's what a white knight is, um, and uh, it's awful. It has a nasty. One of the things that I learned is it has a nasty side effect of creating significant resentment, because most white knights at some point their own mental health comes up. At some point they stop. They have a moment where they need help. They realize I am in a bad place. Whether the, and they might want help, and they become resentful because no one helps them as much as they helped others. And that's where that I'm saying that happens to everybody, but that very much can happen. That happened with me, like with my ex. I was an enabler for my ex. I was the white knight for my ex. I fixed all of her problems. I came to the rescue all the time.
Even
Um,
after y'all decided
Even
to
after,
separate, she
yeah,
lived in the house for an entire motherfucking year and
she did.
goddamn half. And you
Yeah,
paid for her bills and you paid for her shit and you paid for her food. You let her boyfriend live with y'all.
Yeah. Hey, Gavina. Yes, I did. It was very, very unhealthy. I was in a very bad place. I
And you
love
want to
myself.
know what the part that really it was because I want you are a good guy. That is what you told me. You are a good guy and you wanted to
Yes.
honor your
Yes.
promise.
Yeah. Yep.
If
Yep.
that wasn't white knightish, if that wasn't like king of the white knights at the round table, King Arthur's right hand man. And I'm going to tell you
Mhm.
this, I admire Pep Pep. I really do. I think put it down before just because put it down. I know, like literally put it down. There you go. You're doing that whole thing. Can let me finish talking. Let me finish talking before you get all defensive. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I know your cues. Don't start with me. Uh, you were the white knight ultimately, and you did those things, and those things hurt you, and you did allow those things, and you were an enabler. But at the same time, you did the best you could, and you grew out of that, and you learned how to
Yeah.
set boundaries, albeit
I did.
slowly.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'd never really set boundaries until that point when I realized where I was and what I had done and what I was doing, and I decided there's no more. I decided that needed to stop.
You did.
That's where I really started setting boundaries.
And think of all the steps that you took.
Mhm.
And you cannot be and here's I'm saying this, and you've said this to me, your therapist has said this to you, and I'm going to say this to everybody else. I'm going to repeat
Mhm.
this, and I'm having to say this to myself now that I'm doing all my inner young adult work. You do not have anything to be ashamed of because you didn't have the skills and the information to do better. So you right
Yeah.
instantly just then you thought to yourself, I should have known better. Here is something I should feel ashamed of.
Mhm.
But that's not how to look at it.
Yeah.
You were a white knight. You were the king of white knights. This is why we're having this whole topic, because this is a topic that
Yes.
is very important to you. And I'm wanting to point this out to
Yes.
you and to our audience. And I'm wanting to point this out to
Mhm.
our community. And here's the thing. You were the ultimate white knight. That's nothing to be ashamed of. That is just who you were. That is what you
Mhm.
do. And you say to yourself, you're a recovering white knight. Yes, you are, because you still are fighting those tendencies because it's something that we grew up with and we were taught.
Yep.
But you should not be ashamed and upset because you didn't have the skills at the time. Being upset with that person that you were that doesn't serve you,
Mhm.
because you're like, I should have known better. I should have. How are
Yeah.
you did not have the skills, you did
Mhm.
not have the
No, I didn't.
mindset, and there is nothing to be ashamed of because of that. There is no shame in not knowing and doing the best that you could at the time and making the right choices for yourself at that time.
Mhm.
So pointing out the fact that you were a white knight and you did those things fills you with that guilt and that shame, because you're over here judging yourself and being harsh with, you're looking at yourself from a lens of, I should have known better. How could you have known better? No one taught you to know better, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So you got really defensive and you got really ashamed, and Pep Pep,
Mhm.
there is nothing for you to be ashamed of. You didn't have the skills. You did the best that you could. And I'm telling this for everyone else in our community, everyone else who has done the white knight thing, because I have done the white knight thing. And we've all gone, I should have known better. I should have done better. Now,
Yeah.
maybe you did have the skills and you didn't. Like, you didn't. Okay, well, but see, judging yourself at that point, it doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
You did not have the skills. But in that entire period, I watched you grow, and I think that you're at that point in your healing journey where you say you're a recovering white knight, and you do recognize those things. So
Yes.
look at that. You would never allow that to happen again.
Nope.
So forgive yourself and and use that to help others and share that part of yourself. So it's okay. This is a safe space, Pep, and no one is judging you for that. No one is judging, and I know that that's where you went because you instantly grabbed your coffee mug and you put it right up in your face.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that, like, because this is going to be a topic that hits some parts of you, and I know that it's going to make you uncomfortable. And this is safe. If you want to if we go to places and it makes you feel unsafe and you're uncomfortable, that's fine. We can change it. But you're safe, and nothing to be ashamed. Well, I mean, shh, 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 shh. We promise never
Jay,
to talk about that, Jay. Shh.
That's right. What happens? What happens with the buffalo stays with the buffalo.
Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
You've grown immensely, which is why you pick this topic. There's a part of you that does want to talk about this and that does want to get through this. But understand that nobody here is going to judge you. And if they do, then that's on them. That's not on you. Because we are talking about this because you want to help other people.
I do.
And I'm very proud of you for that. Because I was there through that entire period. I was there through that period.
You were.
Remember, I was there through all of this. We have been together, supporting each other, yelling at each other, and we've grown. We've grown together, and I am proud of you.
Thanks.
But you don't have to judge yourself, and no one here is judging you for being a white knight. Do you hear me? Do you believe me?
Mostly yes.
Well, fair enough. All right, that's honest. Okay. There's a lot of that Pep goes, well, what happens at con between you Pep and Jay? I don't know. What happens at con stays at con. Right. That's fine.
Ah. So how did we get here?
We can't save everyone.
We cannot.
And who's the only person that we can save?
That would be ourselves. It's like what they tell you on the airplane. And a USB. Really, Jay? Okay.
It's not on the cloud? Right. Dumb.
Yeah, I thought it was accessible for all of us on the cloud.
Anyway, go ahead.
It's like they say on the airplane. Put the mask over yourself before you try to help someone else. Because if you can't help yourself, you won't be able to help anybody else. If you're always worried about helping someone else, if you're always worried about saving someone else, you not only not save them probably, but you won't save yourself either. And so neither of you will be in a good place. So not saying that you have to be perfect or you have to be completely healed, but you can't neglect yourself. You can't try to help everyone else and neglect yourself. That's where the boundaries come in. And those are hard to set. It's hard to set with yourself, self-boundaries. That's one thing that I've learned. Creating self-boundaries. Because the white knight isn't necessarily the cloud is someone else's computer.
Focus, Pep.
Sorry. Because being a white knight isn't necessarily someone coming to you and go, rescue me, save me, save me. Sometimes it is you looking out and seeing other people and going, I can save them. They may not have asked you for help. They may, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. So Yeah. So sometimes the boundaries you have to set are with yourself, not someone else. Someone else may not have ever asked you for help. And so not only are you're rushing in to save someone, you're rushing in to save someone that didn't even want you to save them. And maybe you're trying to save someone who doesn't even need saving. In case anyone is wondering what the expression on Arug's face is, we've had this conversation before, and I am guilty of going, I will save you!
Oh my god. I have literally shouted at him. Like I am in emotional distress, right? And all I need is my best friend. I just need my best friend. I don't need him to do anything. I don't need him to I don't need him to do anything. I just need somebody on the other end. I just need somebody to exist so that I can process. But I don't want to process this alone. And there is a huge difference, and I've had to learn real quick. There is a huge difference between supporting somebody and helping somebody. And sometimes there are people that do need help. We are not saying at all that helping people is a bad thing. We're not saying that because helping people is an amazing thing. But then there's too much. There's always too much of something. You can help too much. And with the sharpest. But I just needed Pep to just be on the other end of the phone. Just tell me, hey, I'm here. You're not alone. That's it. That's all I've needed. And he knew this. Like, it's not like I've showed up and said, hey, this is like, he's known this. Like, they're like, especially as I've gotten further along in my mental, I just need you to exist while I am in this moment of distress because nobody can walk me through this except for me. And I know that. I know that all I need is just to know that I'm not by myself as I'm walking in this dark moment by alone. And he'll sit there and he'll just start talking and he'll just start cheerleading, which is good sometimes, but not in those moments. And he knows this. He knows. And I've had to stop. I literally in one of my darkest moments, not my darkest, but one of my dark moments. I'm on the phone. Like I can't. Luckily, he can't see my face. A lot of times, it's just it's on voice call, and I will yell at him at the top of my lungs. I just need you to shut up. I don't need you to help me or save me. Just listen. Just listen. Just listen. And he's like, oh.
Okay.
Or when I'm texting him and I'm telling him I'm starting to be, and he'll like this litany of text of solutions, answers to a question I didn't even ask him. I'm like,
I will start swinging. I'm attempting to vanquish this foe, and I'm just swinging wildly.
He is trying to vanquish my demons. He wants to squash right, and I'm like. And I understand it all is coming from a very good place. It is coming from a place of love. And that is where I understand it comes from a place of love because like we don't want to see anyone that we love and we care about suffer and hurting and in pain and have a problem and struggling. And anybody who's been a parent or even like in a situation where like you don't want to see them hurting. You don't. You will do, and they're gonna like you want to do everything that they can. And they were low. Yeah. And I mean, there is a difference between occasionally doing something and then there's something like that, Paragon, where got to keep it shut down if somebody wants to vent.
Nerdy will. Absolutely. I absolutely feel that.
Now, Paragon, there is a difference between, I found myself, if you are in a place and that's something you want to do, and it's like an occasional thing. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really in desperate need, and you're like, this is a choice that I make for right now. Okay, I'm going to make that moment. And if it's one time, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not necessarily white knighting it. I mean, that is a choice that you make. Now, white knighting it is if they start to expect you. If you're living month to month and then they
Mm-hmm.
expect you to pay for gas and their groceries all the time. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm low on gas again. Can you loan me another $20? Or hey, I'm like, if it's that becomes the expectation, that is more of a white knight. A lot of people I
Mm-hmm.
hung out with did.
Yeah.
Okay, so well then that, yes, that would be white knighting it. Like if a lot of the people that just came to expect you to save them or do for them
Yes.
without any consideration for the peril and detriment that it puts you in. Are you wanting to talk this out or
Mm-hmm.
just wanting to vent?
That's an yeah. That's an important distinction and an important question.
I've actually and once you get to that point with that friend, and some people you don't know well enough,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. But I know with Pep, because I know where he's at in his journey, he needs to be told. Like because he's still working like on the, he says that recovering white knight.
Yeah.
He's getting better, but he really is. He is so much better uh, now than he was a year ago. I can promise you this. But
Yeah.
again, I'm better now than I was a year ago. So I mean, we've
Mm-hmm.
grown and mature in our friendship. Where I can call or I'm texting, I said, hey, can I call you? He's like, yes. And I will, the first thing that I will say out of my mouth, I will make it very clear what I want his role to be in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I need
And
you,
most of.
I
Mm-hmm.
need you to shut up. I need you to not
Mm-hmm.
say anything. I need you to just listen. I need you to exist
Mm-hmm.
with me. I will say that almost exactly like
Yep.
that. And he'll be like, okay. And just
Mm-hmm.
sit.
And for us, for most of the time, that is what you need. You don't need me to fix your problem. You just need me to be there. There are so many times where you have figured out your own what to do about your situations simply by talking it out loud to me, and I just sit there. Um, what I have to do though, I will tell you. I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you especially when you tell me those, hey, I need you to not talk. I need to talk, and you not say anything. I put myself on mute because if I don't put myself on mute,
I know you do.
something will come out.
I know you do.
So I recognize that I need to be on mute, and I'll let you go, and I'll let you talk until the point where you're, and then I'm like, are you done? Do you have anything else? Because I don't want to like,
No, usually you'll sit there until I say, okay, I'm done because I have to tell
yeah.
you I'm done. So we have, again, we've matured enough in our friendship. We're having that conversation of,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the rain is starting to let up. The rain and the storm is starting to let up. Okay, now you can talk. Because I know, honestly, I have to also acknowledge the white knight in him. It's a two-way street. It's
Yeah.
acknowledging the fact that, okay, he has sat there, and I'm not going to sit there and let him sit in his discomfort, but and he's going to slowly start integrating himself back into a conversation. I'm not going to just, hey, I need you to listen to me. Okay, I'm good. I'm done. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
also the thing.
Yeah. You're right. Because you don't do that. It's part of the conversation, and then we go from there. But what you don't need me to do is to sit there and tell you how to fix your problem.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to. And that's what I have to really work on is making sure that I don't do that. And whether it's with you or whether it's with someone else,
I've had to
there's
stop you
other
from white
people.
knighting before.
You have, yeah. You talking about with other people? Yeah, yes, yeah. There have been times where you're like, yeah, I think you're trying to, yeah,
Pep. Like yeah.
yeah,
It'll be like he'll be texting me. It's usually via text. Like he'll say, oh, so and
yeah.
so said la la la, and I'm like, okay.
Mhm, mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, and I'll ask him questions. I'm like, now, What are your boundaries? And that's usually the question that he'll stop him. That'll be the one though he like, I know that he's white knighting when he starts, instead of telling me his boundaries, he'll tell me his excuses.
Yes. Yeah. Nerdy Will. So you came in late. White knighting. That's really important to save your king. Yeah. White knighting is you're attempting to rescue. Your value, your identity is rescuing other people. Sometimes rescuing them from external forces, and sometimes rescuing them from themselves. You are an enabler, is what you are. But you're a white knight. You're attempting to rescue. And so there's a scene in The Witcher where there's a white knight scene in Witcher where they're going to kill a dragon, and there is a guy who is the knight, and he is all about hacking, and he's like, oh, I need to rescue you, and he just starts killing stuff. He just starts swinging his sword like to rescue them, and they're going, what are you doing? I'm rescuing you. I'm saving you. From what? Yeah. So I'm a recovering white knight. I have to be very careful with friends, with significant others, that I do not attempt to go in. I am susceptible to making my identity about saving other people. That is my self-worth. My self-worth comes from saving other people. That's what white knighting is. That's part of being a white knight.
I have to admit that when I started this whole journey, back when I first started streaming, and if you look at some of these, it was very much a white knight frame of mind. I wanted to help other people. I wanted to save other people. I wanted to help other people. So I was going to share, which is why it's really important for me now, as I am in this place, as I have started, 6 months ago now. Oh my God, 6 months. Six to 7 months. Where I have started, like, if you've noticed, or it's like I've had to reframe things. And it's not about me now saving other people and helping. It is about helping other people, but it is making it more about me. And in that, okay, when you often hear me say rephrasing, okay, like I'll have to turn it around about you. No, this is me. And this is what I'm going through. And here's what I'm experiencing and what I am doing. And maybe what I'm experiencing and what I'm going through will help you. You can take it from it. And I do want to help people, but I'm also trying to, it's less about saving people and more about opening up the space for people. Yes. And I think that that's what waking up has done. That's what I have changed in the middle to. That is what I've changed my stream, my impromptu streams to, is that it's less about going in and I am going to give you this information so that I can save people, and it's more of, here is this space that I've experienced, and here's this safe space, and it's this place of, here's where I am at, and you are welcome and you are safe here. And maybe that is what people need at that moment. And maybe that does help them. Or maybe they need it later on down the line, but it is not so much about, you need this and you need this and you need to do this and you need to do this. Like somebody loading you up with all the things that you need, like a mom packing your lunch for school or packing your book bag. You'll need this and you'll need this and you'll need this. And it's more of, here are your supplies. Take what you need from it. Here's your space. Here's your space. And here are the tools that I had that helped me. You take what you need from it. And if you don't need that for you, then you don't need that for you. And it's a mindset. It is absolutely a mindset. And it makes the whole atmosphere of the relationship between people very different. The actions might look externally the same. It is the intent and the intent behind all of it. Pep Pep in my relationship, I will sit and talk to Pep Pep for hours and I will vent to him and I will do all these things, but it is how he listens. It is how I convey the exchange looks the same. The reception of the here it is. Here it is. Okay. Got a great for those of you who are having trouble sort of seeing that. It is the difference between standard definition and 4K. The picture is the same, the movie is the same, the what you're watching is the same. It is all in how the information is received and given. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was looking at some of the chat. Nerdy. Yeah, there's a lot of people have it to a certain extent. Or they have moments. For me, it was my identity. So it is not wrong to help people. It is the context in which you are doing so. And Jay mentioned earlier withdrawal. That's a big piece of evidence that you are white knighting. That it is that you withdraw from it. If you are not fixing someone else's problem, if you go into withdrawal, that means your identity is based on fixing other people. You have not defined yourself by anything other than what you contribute to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not helping someone, then who are you? Yeah, that's part of how you know you're white knighting.
What aren't you saying, Pep Pep?
I don't know.
Lies and deceit.
I had a thought while you were talking. I had a thought and then I lost it. That's where I'm going.
MacGyver Boy Scout.
MacGyver Boy Scout, yeah.
And this isn't just for men. I think that we get in this mindset. Okay, and here is where male and female, it is men white knight, right? And that is a thing where now, I'm gonna rescue you, I'm gonna save you, I'm gonna do these things. Women have it too. It's just it's termed differently. But women do it too. It's mothering. I'm gonna mother you.
Yes.
I'm gonna mother you.
That's exactly what it is.
I'm gonna say, I just don't want you to be hurt. I just don't want you to hurt. I don't want you, and you don't know any better. It's like you just don't have the tools that you need. Here, let me pack your backpack for you. Let me give you all the things that you may not know you need. You don't know that you need it just right now, but you're gonna need this.
Yes.
Or
yes.
Yeah.
Or the checking in with you. So have you done this? Did you do this? Did you take care of that? It is very much Paragon calls it care maiden. That's
so much better than mothering.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's what it is. It's constantly checking on you. You are not capable of doing this thing on your own. You're not capable of handling this situation or working through this on your own. Therefore, they feel they have to step in and be a part of that in order for you to succeed.
Women do absolutely do it too. So it's just
that's my mother.
It's just her, and it's me too. I have done absolutely white knighted. I have absolutely white knighted for a long time, just like I said. Like I wanted to save people, and it's very much our religious background. We were told we had to save the world. Onward, Christian soldier. Mouse, can you get settled? Either lay down. You're bumping into my mic. Baby, you're not hungry. I know you have food down there. Oh, you just want, okay. Thank you for settling it. Okay. Men white knight the person. That is very true. Yes.
Yeah.
I white knighted everything. I don't think it was like I think that that's I situations, but that's also my trauma. I was expected
Mm-hmm.
to. We often talk. I like when I talked about going to Papa Rook's wedding and how everyone just expected me. Don't worry about it. That was the phrase. That
Arugs.
was literally the phrase. Don't worry about it. Arugs will take care of it.
Your dad even said that to me on the day of. Like, oh well, I know how Roogs is. When she gets in town, she's gonna want to do, and it was. If it wasn't his wedding day, I wanted to say something, but it was we were at the church. I was like, I'm not gonna point this out, but I'm thinking, Aruk's never asked for that. Aruk's never wanted to take over your wedding and plan your wedding. You're expecting her to. Did you ever ask her? Did you ever go to Rooks and go, "Hey, I would like would it be okay if? How do you feel about if?" Because I knew you didn't want to, but I knew that you were under. You knew that's what everyone was expecting of you, because that's how you used to be. You
Mm-hmm.
used to just come in and take over, take charge.
Because I used to white knight just like anybody else.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is not and I have to, and here I am again expressing I had to, that's where I could have gotten bitter. I could have gotten bitter. I could have gotten angry. I could have gotten
Mm-hmm.
that is not who I
Yeah.
am anymore. Y'all figure your shit out and all this stuff. First off, I had to be aware of, like, had it not been my dad's wedding, it would have been a totally different thing. It would have totally been a totally
Yeah.
different conversation. I am not
Mm-hmm.
mad. I'm not even mad or upset at my dad or my family for having that mindset. I am not mad at them.
Yeah.
And I could have easily justified being upset and angry at them. I'm not that person anymore. Y'all figure your shit out, because first off, they have not been with me on my journey. They do not know me now as they did. Now my dad, and we talk occasionally and he knows what I'm going through, but
Mm-hmm.
he hasn't gone through the entire journey with me. He is starting to understand, and he's being way more understanding and way more supporting, and he, out of any
Yeah.
one of my family, has really been the person, and that wasn't the time and place. And
Yeah.
that's okay. And that's okay. And he didn't
Yeah.
do it intentionally. None of them
No,
did.
yeah. Not at all.
And it was, I don't think that they did it as a bad thing. And I think that when we
Mm-hmm.
get out of our white knighting situation, our white knighting mindset, we can easily go into overcompensate and go into, I'm not that
That's a good
person
point.
anymore. Y'all figure your shit out.
Yeah.
Again, that is black and white. That is very
Mm-hmm.
black and white. And they are not doing it, because at the time when we were growing up, that is how I expressed my love, and they were letting me love them.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't, and I know that sounds like an unhealthy dynamic, because it was, but
Mm-hmm.
they weren't doing it to be mean.
Yeah. They weren't malicious. That
No.
was they knew you for who you were. As you said, they haven't seen the extent of your journey. Um,
Oh, because that's healthy approach, Paragon.
yeah. No. No. Yeah. It's it's setting boundaries with other people and setting boundaries with yourself.
Right.
Um, it's saying no, and no is a complete sentence. Don't be in so. Yeah.
And it's not their
Um,
fault, because we were told that we had to save everyone. And that
when
you were
mhm,
only a good person the more people you saved. It was a different type of body count.
that's a good point. Yeah. When when I started setting boundaries with my ex, I hated her how she responded. I absolutely I villainized her for her responses to me. But I've learned that although her responses to me were unhealthy, I bred that by being a white knight for her for 15 years. I created that. I fed that. I fed it for 15 years, and then all of a sudden I went, nope, not doing it anymore. I mean, think about that. No matter what it is, if you do something for 15 years, then you suddenly yank it away. of course there's going to be a violent, verbally, some sort of response, a very, very harsh response. And that's what I did to her. So of course she came at me harshly. Now, she also, that doesn't excuse what she did. That doesn't excuse, because she came at me very verbally violent. Character assassination and everything. That doesn't excuse what she did. But when I realized that her having such a strong negative response shouldn't have been surprising. When I finally set a boundary and went, no, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, I took away from her the thing that I took away her salvation. I wasn't saving her anymore, and she was going to have to do it on her own. And she hated me for it at that moment because she didn't know what that looked like. She didn't know how to do that because I'd done it for her for so long. I'd created this monster.
She was afraid.
She was afraid, and that my former therapist said that because I'm so quick to villainize my ex.
Thanks for the subscription.
Oh, yay!
Yay!
And my former therapist had pointed out, he's like, what if she was just doing the only thing that she knew how to do? What if you make her out to be this malicious person, that she was trying to hurt you? Maybe she was just scared because she didn't know what to do. She knew she was going to have to she was going to end up out on her own. She knew she didn't have a clue how to live on her own. She was just scared. And what do scared people do? What do scared animals do? So I was like, oh, dang it, you're right. So interestingly enough, a couple years later, or a year or two later, when I ran into her, she had her own place, she had her own job, she was living on her own, and she was like, she actually apologized. She's like, I should have left sooner. Like, my life has been so much better since I left. I wish I'd left sooner. I wish I hadn't done that to you, and I wish I had gotten out sooner because I didn't realize my life could be like, until I got out. So, yeah. When I stopped white knighting, and it forced her to save herself, she became much better off than she ever would have if I continued white knighting, if I'd continued saving her.
Both Don Darrow and Jay have very good points. Most of the time, being a white knight hurts both parties. Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Second, if you've been white knighted your whole life, you may not have the capacity to do otherwise.
Yes. Yes, that's very true. Very good points. So if you suddenly pull back on that, anyone that has been benefiting, anyone that you have been doing that with, don't be surprised when there is a very negative response.
I'm gonna point something out that you may not notice and that you may not have realized.
Mm-hmm.
That is the first time I think that I have ever, since then, that you actually talked with compassion about her. That you approached that situation and that you've approached her with compassion. That you didn't talk to her like she was a villain, like she was out to get you. Like, that is the first time in how you worded everything, how you spoke to her about her. That is the first time in years that you've actually approached her and the idea of her and what she did with compassion. And I'm very, very proud of you for that. And I want to point that out, and I want to make that very obvious. Look at how embarrassed you are right now. That's huge. That is huge. And some people are like, they don't think so.
Oh, thanks, guys.
That is huge, and I'm very, very proud of you for that. You got to a place. You got to a place that you haven't been able to before.
Yeah.
So, good job.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for pointing that out because I wasn't conscious of that.
I know you were.
So
That's why I was pointing it out.
thank you.
Positive reinforcement.
Yay!
you
Thanks.
know, you know that's a thing, right? Right? Positive
That positive
reinforcement.
reinforcement is a
That's a
thing.
thing.
Yes. Oh my God. Wow.
And you did it. That's a big part. You did it without trying. Exactly, Don Darrow.
Oh.
Exactly. He did it without trying. He did it without thinking about it. And that is huge. I will talk for a minute, give you a minute. I will talk and give you
No.
a minute. Okay.
The thought that I had was I was about to insert a negative thought into it.
Nope, I'm not gonna let you ruin it.
And I stopped myself. I was like, no, I am not inserting a negative thought. A negative. No, I'm good. So that's why I clamped my mouth shut for a second.
And good for you for catching that. Look at you being
Oh.
aware. Oh, yay! Look, you picked the topic that was important to you. Look at the growth, Pep Pep. And that is not mocking. I'm actually really happy. I'm really proud of you.
Oh.
Yay!
Thanks for joining, Don Darrow.
Okay, you cannot lick yourself. No, you were literally right under my mic. And I'm like looking down, and I realize people can't see my cat. I feel like no, you can't lick yours. I realize
that was that.
I realize how that sounded.
I think we're gonna need a clip for that.
White knighting. It affects everyone. I think it affects everyone differently. You know, and everyone comes at it in their own way, and they deal with it in their own way in their own time, and it looks differently to everyone. There's no generalization. Now, what we do with it, how we feel about it, how we approach it is all about our traumas, all about our needs, our emotional and mental needs. I think here, okay, and here we're gonna here's the thing, and we can talk about this for the last part of it. Being that we want to save people and white knight people, and we become masters at rationalizing away why it is not healthy. We are really great. And we were talking about last night when we were gaming about, well, they need me more than you, or they need me because, or it's all about why it is okay to be doing what you are doing. And sometimes it has to be once you set the boundary and they have that reaction, it is so easy to fall back into that pattern. Hence the reason you get trauma bonded. Hence the reason you go back into those cycles with those people. Because you can justify anything because you want to be a good person. Because you are a good person.
Yes. That was one of my not triggers, but that was one of the major reinforcements for me, was being a good person, wanting to be a good person.
Nerdy Will, yes. I mean, possibly. I've had to stop myself from, like, I know somebody can't afford something that I know would benefit them. Like you can gift somebody. Now, if you have the means to do it, and you want to do it, that's great. Like if you
Yeah.
have the means to do it. But I have wanted to buy something for somebody else when I know that I can't afford it. But I in
Mhm.
my head am going, but it's something that will benefit them. So it's money well spent. But the money eventually runs out. Like occasionally, yeah, but it's like, did they ask for that? I have considered paying for somebody else's therapy because you can do that. There's a time where there is like on BetterHelp, you can pay for somebody else's therapy. And I'm like, I know. I like it was so fucking hard for me because I know I could do it for a short term. But I couldn't keep that up long term.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between doing something nice for somebody and surprising them, yes. But then there's that whole, what am I doing it for? And did they ask for it?
What is the intention? Is a big part. Yeah.
And it's not
Um.
my job. And I
Would.
I see
Sorry.
like
Go ahead.
if especially if you can see that they are spending money on other things when they could be spending money on therapy, or they could be, or they're like, then what am I doing? I am just enabling.
Yes. What is the intention behind it? Um, are you sacrificing something to do that? That's a big part. And what happens if you don't? If you don't do that for them, what happens? Are they just going to go get it themselves? Okay, well then to me that's not, if you're just doing it to be nice, okay. If you don't, they're just going to go get it themselves. You're not saving them from anything. You're not. But if you don't, here's to me the really defining moment here. If you don't do that for them, how do you feel? If you don't buy it for them, do you feel bad about yourself? Do you feel like you're not helpful? Do you feel like you're less of a person because you didn't? I should have done that for them. Why didn't I do that for them? I should have done that for them. Does it consume you to think that you didn't do that? That's a problem because you're basing your value on helping someone else.
If they can't support themselves and you are over there paying for the things that they want instead of the things that they need,
Mm-hmm.
you are a white knight. If they can't buy the basics for themselves, if they are not doing what they need to do
Mm-hmm.
for themselves, but you are like gladly paying for things that if they can't afford to pay for their own fucking groceries, but you're over there making sure that they have the clothes that they need, and like they have like the toys that they want, or the what, like,
Mm-hmm.
and by toys I mean adult toy, like not adult toys, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
like whatever. But
Yeah. Nerdy provided some additional context. Yeah. At that point, that's just poor money management. And yes, if you were to do that for them, that's 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 white knighting. If they can't manage their own money and so you are saving them from themselves, what happens? So what happens if they don't do it? If you don't do it, if you don't buy the boxes for them, if you don't save them by doing that, what happens? Are they do they get mad at you? Are they incapable of doing it themselves? But indeed,
bitch, your TV is
we
about to
go.
disappear. I think it's they're okay, and again, everyone, and I want to make this very clear because Pep didn't say that we are not professionals. We are not
No.
professionals, and I actually came about this, and I talked about this last night on our gaming stream when we were discussing our mental health stuff. Everybody's different. Everyone's situation is different. Are our experiences similar? Yes. How we approach our experiences are are similar. Yes, but it's everything. You can't just what we're saying is not doctrine. One, I'm saying that, and two, it's this is our opinions, and this is what we've experienced. But nothing like irritates me more than to watch people take advantage of other people.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what I think it hits my trigger very deeply because I have been taken advantage of. And like Jay said, you need this money for this. And, you know, you've been telling me this. And then all of a sudden, like, what? It's not my job to save other people. It is not my job. And there are moments where it kills me. It really does wreck me.
Yep. Knowing that you can, that's what really gets me is like, oh, I can do that. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I can help them out. It's not a big deal. Is it really not a big deal, or am I just minimizing myself? And knowing that I could help them out, knowing that I could give them a loan, knowing that I could do that thing for them, and choosing not to because it's not the right thing to do, that hurts. That's hard.
You know what makes me angry? Like literally fills me with anger. Anger.
What makes you angry?
Because I have.
What grinds your gears?
Oh, this is beyond grinds my gears. This is like one of those like you open it up and the cogs like pop out like oh. And I have several friends who do this. Several. And it like I'm just getting hot just thinking about it. Like I want to peel my skin off my face. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. See, that's a professional opinion right there. That is a professional opinion.
Yep.
When I am sitting there and people will ignore their own needs to provide wants for others.
When you see it, yeah.
And then they justify it by going, no, it's what they need. So you could pay for your own therapy because I've seen you pay for all the other shit for them, but you can't afford it?
Yes.
Okay.
See that's the priorities. It's what is their priority. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so you are neglecting, ignoring your needs, things that will make you better and things that like, and I know, and I can't say anything. I know because I can't control other people. And that's why it makes me angry because again, my white knight wants to tell them that they like, what the fuck are you doing? Let's sit down. And what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You are dumb. They are using you. They are using you and taking advantage of you, and you are okay with it. And then you're wondering why you feel so used and why you are hateful, like why you hate society because society uses you.
What I hear you saying is it's possible to white knight the white knight?
Yes. And I'm like, I even upset my cat. I'm like, I am sitting there going, what are you doing?
Did they ask for your opinion?
I don't give my opinion. I am good. I don't give them my opinion. I don't express my opinion to them. I don't sit there and I know that I can't control other people and that is their own choices and that is their own journey, which again is why it annoys me because the white knight in me is going, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And then I go, and then when they want to sit there and I see them in this bad, and I'm like, it makes me want to. The white knight in me wants me to rip the skin off my face and beat them with it.
saving them from themselves.
But honey, Dan, you can't deny it.
Right? Thank you, Jen.
I was trying to muffle the screams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. All right. Chloroform helps.
I didn't come here to be attacked like this. Your inner monologue is amazing. It is, and that is exactly what goes through my head when I am sitting there and these friends, and it's both male and female, and they are sitting there going,
Sorry. Our community is hilarious. I love our community. You guys are hilarious.
But I am over here and I am sitting here and they are talking about how they hate people because people use them and abuse them and that they get taken advantage of. And then I sit there and they put up this wall and they're like, well, people use me. And then I watch them literally get used by these, and I'm like, I want to go, oh, okay. And I am internally calculating all of like there's several people who are like, I can't afford therapy, so that's why I don't go, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm internally calculating all the ways that and I want to say something, and I am sitting here, and the white knight in me has my sword in my hand, wanting to go, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, and I'm going, I'm trying, why? You could be better. You could help yourself. You could literally, and the white knight in me is going, let me help you. Okay, here. I bet if I do XYZ, I could show you the way. And here is the path of how to improve your life and to be happy and to be healthy. But you have to stop tunnel visioning on this one person who is literally sucking the life of you. You are under the spell of fucking that you need to help them because they can't help themselves. But the reality is they have you under this trauma bond spell that you are so bound to, and then you're wondering why you hate society and why you hate life and why you hate yourself. Well, I can tell you why, but I'm not going to tell you why because in my healing, I'm not allowed to tell you why, because it is not my life. That is your choice and that is your journey. And in the white knight in me is going, why aren't you swinging for the fences? Why is there not bloodshed? Why aren't you hacking and slashing? And the healed part of me is the wise mage that is there is going, no, that is not what we do. We love and we accept, even though you want to sit there and you want to save them. That then, do you want to go down that path again? We have been down that path, Arugs. We have been down that hack and slash path of white knighting and saving people, and it has not served us. So we have power over ourselves. We can only control our own universe, and we can only control ourselves. And the best way to be their friend and to love them and care for them is to not say anything. And it's they know their options. You have said that they are aware that they need the XYZ, and that is their choice, and they must choose their own journey and path. And I am sitting here wanting to roll a D20 so that I can sit here and fucking hack and slash, but I am rolling a 5 going the white knight doesn't die. The white knight doesn't die. The white knight just knows its place after a while. So just FYI, for down your healing path, if you want to know what healing looks like as a white knight, as a recovering white knight, this is the dialogue that happens in your fucking head. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. The need to want, the desire to help people does not stop. Your just ability to be aware of it and choose differently becomes better.
Yes. And you have, yeah.
Welcome to the inner monologue of a therapist. This is
I'm pretty sure that's Miko's. See, we need a video of Miko in a therapy session, and your voice just like
zooming in
slowly on Miko's face as your voice just that entire speech right there. That soapbox. I think I need that in my life.
We'll exchange TikTok. That's what we'll do.
There you go. I put myself in situations knowing that's what I was doing, yet rationalizing that I was doing it. When you find yourself in situations, when I found myself in situations, it I would say, well, I'm here. Like I would act like it just happened, crazy random happenstance. But that's not really what happened. I put myself in those situations where I could white knight. I put myself in situations where that was like I was there. I'm in it, and then like, well, and then of course you rationalize it. Well, I'm here, and I'm just trying to help. But I put myself in a situation where that was what I was doing, as opposed to setting a boundary and going, I can't do that. And I did that recently, and that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my journey is to tell the person I can't do that. I can't be that for you. Oh, that hurts. Because knowing like I could help, knowing I could get that hit of dopamine, knowing this is like I could take the shot, take the hit, and going nope, I cannot. I'm not gonna put myself in this situation. I cannot be that for you. Oh, mm. It's hard. It's very hard. But I had to set that boundary.
And here's a final thought as we
Mm-hmm.
wrap up. If I think for me, I have to question. It's not just, oh, they're using me and turning. It's also thinking about yourself in that relationship, because for me, again, all this is for me and not like everybody's different, but for me, I had to question, am I still their friend slash girlfriend slash wife slash partner slash child?
Mm-hmm.
Even my parents and family member. Is my relationship with them based on saving them? And if I can't save them, like I just said, I had this whole rant of I could fucking save you.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't sit in the acceptance of that person is going to make their own choices and they're going to do their own things, and I can't allow myself to sit in that relationship with them and let them make their own choices, even though I know I could do anything, and just sit in the discomfort of wanting to say all of these things, but knowing that that is not my place. That is not, these are my opinions. That is not what's going to be healthy. If I can't sit in that and go, they are their own person and I love them anyway. I love them anyway. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to love them and I'm going to support them and I'm going to, regardless of the choices that they make for themselves, I love this person. I'm going to set my boundaries and I'm going to know what's acceptable for me, and that I'm not going to cross that line. But I'm going to sit behind my boundary and I'm going to let that happen and I'm going to love them and I'm going to allow them that space and let the relationship evolve as it should, where they should, and I'll make my choices and they will make theirs. If I can't do that, if the urge is so strong that I want to sit there and go, I want to manipulate and I want to challenge, because if you don't, you're telling them that they can't handle their exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They are their own choices. If I can't sit there and do that, then what does that say about my view on them? My view for them in my life.
That's a good point.
Because I know I could save them. All they have to do is just let me.
If they would just listen to you.
Just listen to me.
They would just do what you said.
That is not me accepting them for as they are and where they are and who they are. That is me viewing them for as I want them to be. That is not radically accepting that this is where they're at and where their choices, and that is their life. That is me wanting to control. That is me wanting to do all of those things. And that is me seeing them as I want them to be and as I think that they should be, instead of accepting and loving them as they are and where they are. And I can't accept them, and I can't accept and want and need other people to love me and accept me for where I'm at and who I am if I am not willing to do the same for others. My relationships with other people do not get better. And that's that whole like valued goals. I am wanting to work on my relationships with other people. And that is a big part of it because I want to save people. And that's the white knight. I want, as long as you do as I tell you to do and you do as I think, I'm going to be able to give you down this path. And that's not healthy. And that is me doing a disservice to that person that I'm in that friendship and relationship with.
Yeah, I think Jay said earlier that white knighting actually hurts both.
No, that is Dondera.
It was Dondera? Okay. Dondera said it. Yeah, white knighting hurts both people. You think it's helping both, or at least helping them, but it doesn't. It actually hurts both.
Radically accepting
away,
this is where we're at in our relationship, and our relationship will evolve and change and grow and shrink and dissipate and come back together, just like Pep and I did. Like it'll grow and it'll change and it'll ebb and flow, and that is relationships. And that's hard. That is, as a people pleaser, that is fucking hard. But okay, so we are close. Thank you for letting me be late. I am sorry.
They got to have me by themselves for a little bit.
But you know what? I do want, before we leave and before we end this, first off, this was a really great stream. I think that this was an amazing topic. Pep, I am incredibly proud of you. This whole episode was your brainchild. This whole episode, you were vulnerable and you were very honest and wise, and I am very proud of you. I think that this whole episode was your idea, and you had great things to contribute, and you were vulnerable, and you were, and I know that we talked about it last night, but that was courageous. You were brave today, and I'm very proud of you in your growth, and I have seen how far you've come, and I am very proud, and I want to acknowledge that you've done some really great work, and I know it's been difficult. It has been a difficult road, and I know that all you can concentrate is the hills you've got to climb, the mountains you've got to climb ahead of you, and you are forgetting sometimes that you've got to look behind and see how far the mountains you have already climbed. And you've done some really great work. And this whole episode was your brainchild, and you actually ran most of the episode. I just had nice little rants to insert in between. Good job.
Thank you. This was a great episode.
I'm so proud of you. You are brave. look at you. Sit in the compliment, Pepe.
Oh. Yes.
Oh, and with that, okay, I will take that pressure off of Pep. We have still got our charity stream going on.
Yep.
And we are, I think, is Dondero live right now?
I'm pretty sure I saw him go live.
I saw him turn on Fall Guys. So we are going to raid over into Dondero, and we are still doing our weekend charity stream, and we are raising money for the Youth Pride Association. Please donate. Please donate. We are doing this for, I know that we were just sitting here talking about white knighting, but this is one that if you can, if you are able, if you are in a place where you can, even a dollar will help. And if it doesn't put you out, if it doesn't put you in a bad place, please find it in your heart to donate for these youth. These young adults who don't get the support. They don't get a community like we have, and they don't get that loving place where they feel accepted and wanted. And I know that sometimes in this world where now being the LGBTQ community is like, oh well, I mean, that seems like nothing. There are very much still places where people, even in their own homes, where they don't feel safe. So the Youth Pride Association does provide a safe space for them, and they do help these young adults. So please donate. We're gonna raid over into Dondero, and thanks, Nav. We're gonna raid over into Dondero. We love you guys, and I'm gonna see if I can raid over without like fucking things up, because I don't have my touch portal, because I'm still lazy. Yeah, shut up.
That's on you. That's up to you.
Oh, okay. There's all right. I created a raid. All right.